Before we start, if you enjoy the story, please leave a like and check if you're subscribed. Cole Brennan's arms burned like acid as he stumbled through the smoke, the alien queen's body a dead weight against his chest. 50 yards behind him, plasma fire scorched the air where he'd been standing 3 seconds ago. The ruins of the industrial complex provided cover, but not much. Twisted metal and shattered concrete, everything painted in shades of ash and blood. Her blood, blue and viscous, soaking through his tactical vest. Sentinel-9, confirm status, the voice crackled in his earpiece. Cole's boot caught on debris. He went down hard on one knee, managed to keep her head from cracking against the ground, felt something tear in his shoulder. Her golden eyes fluttered open, unfocused, and one of her cat-like ears twitched against his bicep. Sentinel-9, do you copy? He forced himself upright, his thighs shook. 23 miles down, 27 to go. Target eliminated, he lied into the comm. Static, then negative, Brennan. Thermal shows 2 signatures at your position. Cole's jaw clenched. Behind him, enemy search patterns swept closer, the Queen's own forces hunting through the wreckage. Ahead, the extraction point waited at the edge of the exclusion zone, where human territory began and this whole clusterfuck could finally end. Brennan confirmed target elimination, that's a direct order. He looked down at her face. Even dying, she held herself with something that transcended pain, chin lifted slightly, lips pressed together. A queen, through and through. 6 hours ago, she'd been standing on a platform overlooking her troops, calling for humanity's surrender in 3 languages. He'd had her in his crosshairs. Perfect shot. Orders were clear. Then the orbital strike hit, not from human ships, from hers. The realization had come in fragments. Her own fleet, firing on her position. The scramble of her guards, dying to shield her. Her, crawling from the rubble with half her spine showing through torn armor, still trying to reach her weapon. He'd stood over her with his rifle aimed at her head. Her eyes had met his. No pleading, just acknowledgement. Sentinel-9, eliminate the target or we will terminate extraction protocol. Cole switched off his comm. Her hand moved against his chest plate, fingers spreading over the Kevlar. The touch burned through 3 layers of gear. He'd carried wounded before. Teammates, civilians, once a kid no older than 12. None of them had felt like this, like holding lightning in a bottle. Stupid, she whispered. Her English was perfect, accent musical. You are stupid human. Yeah, well, stupidity's kind of our thing. A sound that might have been a laugh bubbled from her throat, ended in a cough that painted his neck with blue droplets. Her body convulsed. He held her tighter, started moving again, faster now. The muscle memory of infantry marches took over. Left foot, right foot, breathe. Don't think about the weight, don't think about the distance. The exclusion zone stretched out before them, 10 miles of scorched earth that neither side would cross. No cover, no backup. Just exposure and the very real possibility that both sides would fire on sight. Her head lolled against his shoulder. He felt her breath on his neck, shallow and too fast. Why, she asked. Shut up, save your strength. Spare me? Because your own people tried to kill you. Because I watched you take plasma fire meant for your guards and still try to fight. Because something in your eyes said you were done with this war too. Because I'm an idiot, he said. Her fingers curled into his vest. They will execute you. Probably. I am your enemy. You were. The sky above them churned with smoke and chemical clouds, the aftermath of weapons that turned atmosphere into poison. His lungs ached. Each breath tasted like copper and burning plastic. The Queen's chest rose and fell against his, her heartbeat a rapid flutter he could feel through his ribs. Mile 24, his right knee threatened to give out. He locked it, kept moving. She was talking again, words he didn't understand, her language a flowing cascade of sounds that rose and fell like music. Delirious, probably. Dying. He'd seen enough death to know the signs, the glassy look in her eyes, the way her body was starting to go slack. Stay with me, he said. That's an order. Her eyes focused on his face. Up close, he could see the pattern in her irises, gold fractured through with veins of amber. Her skin, where it wasn't covered in blood and ash, had an almost luminescent quality. Beautiful. The thought hit him sideways, inappropriate, impossible to ignore. You do not give me orders, human. Cole, my name's Cole. Cole, she tested the word, her lips shaping it carefully. I am Ashara. Well, Ashara, you're going to live through this, understand? Why do you care? He didn't have an answer for that. Didn't want to examine the feeling in his chest that had started when he'd made the decision to carry her instead of kill her. The weight of her in his arms felt right in a way that made no tactical sense. Mile 26. His vision swam, dehydration, exhaustion, the cocktail of stimulants wearing off. The extraction point shimmered in the distance. Heat waves, or hallucination, or hope, he couldn't tell anymore. Ashara's hand moved from his vest to his face, fingers tracing the line of his jaw. Her skin was fever hot. The touch sent electricity down his spine. You will be legend among my people, she murmured, the human who showed mercy. Or the idiot who started a war. War already started. Her thumb brushed his cheekbone. You may have ended it. He wanted to ask what she meant, but his legs chose that moment to betray him. He went down, managed to twist so he took the impact on his back, her body cradled against his chest. The ground punched the air from his lungs. Stars exploded across his vision. Cole, her voice sharper now, her hand on his face, patting his cheek. Cole, stay conscious. He forced his eyes open. She was above him somehow, had shifted her weight, one hand braced on his chest. Blood ran from her mouth, but her eyes were alert, fierce. Get up, soldier. Can't. You carried me 26 miles, you can carry me one more. The absurdity of it hit him, an alien queen dying giving him orders. He started to laugh, the sound ragged and half mad. That's an order, she said, and somehow he was moving again. His feet found the ground, his arms locked around her. His body screamed in protest, but obeyed anyway, because she'd asked, because her eyes held his and demanded he be stronger than his limits. The extraction point materialized through the haze. Vehicles, personnel, weapons all pointed at him. He saw the medics rushing forward, saw his commander's face tight with fury, saw the diplomatic corps in their clean suits looking horrified. Ashara's weight shifted in his arms. Her hand came up, grabbed his face with surprising strength, pulled him down until their foreheads touched. Her breath mixed with his. Mine, she said, each word precise and weighted with meaning. You are mine now, Cole Brennan. Her eyes held his, golden and absolute, then they rolled back and she went limp. The medics swarmed them, pulling her from his arms. He stood there, swaying, her blood cooling on his skin. Someone was shouting at him, his commander probably, but the words didn't penetrate. A medic grabbed his arm. Young guy, couldn't have been more than 20. His face was pale. Sir, did she just claim you? What? The mating bond. Sir, in their culture, when a female chooses a mate, the medic looked legitimately terrified. You need to speak to the xenoanthropology team, now. Cole's legs finally gave out. He sat down hard on the tarmac, his back against a transport vehicle, and watched them load Ashara into a medical pod. Through the transparent surface, he could see her face, peaceful now, almost serene. Mine? The word echoed in his head, in her voice, with a finality that felt like a door closing and opening at the same time. General Raymond Cross loomed over him, face red. Brennan, what the hell have you done? Cole looked up at his commander, then back at the medical pod, disappearing into the transport. I have no idea, sir. But that was a lie. Looking at her even now, even like this, he knew exactly what he'd done. He'd stopped being the enemy. The debrief room smelled like stale coffee and anger. Cole sat across from General Raymond Cross, whose face had gone an unhealthy shade of red. You disobeyed a direct kill order, Cross said, each word clipped. You carried an enemy combatant 27 miles, and now you're telling me she claimed you as her mate? I didn't tell her to, sir. That's not the point, Brennan. Cross leaned forward. Do you understand what you've done? Her council is demanding her return. Our State Department is having a collective stroke. And according to the xenoanthropology team, this bond is legally binding under the Treaty of Proxima. Cole's stomach dropped. Binding? The door opened. A woman in civilian clothes entered. Dr. Sarah Chen, head of xenoanthropology. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. General, I need to brief Sergeant Brennan. Cross waved her forward, his jaw tight. Chen sat, pulled up a tablet. In Ashara's species, the female chooses her mate based on displays of strength and honor. When she identified you as worthy, her body released pheromones that locked the bond. It's irreversible. Irreversible. You're hers, she's yours. Their biology doesn't do divorce. Chen's expression softened. The bond only forms if both parties are compatible. Your body accepted her claim, or you'd be dead right now. Cross stood, which is why you're being reassigned. Effective immediately, you're on diplomatic protection detail. Hers. She wakes up in 2 hours. You're going to be there, and you're going to not start a war. Cole wasn't supposed to be in the medical wing. Direct orders to stay away until the situation stabilized, but his feet had carried him here anyway, pulled by something he refused to examine too closely. The guards at her door checked his clearance, waved him through. Ashara sat on the edge of the medical bed, her back straight despite visible healing wounds. Someone had cleaned the blood away, and her blue skin was striking against the white sheets. Her cat-like ears swiveled toward him as he entered, golden eyes tracking his movement. Cole Brennan, she said, they told me you would not come. They told me not to. He closed the door. How are you feeling? Like I was shot and carried 27 miles. A slight smile curved her lips, but alive because of you. The medics did the hard part. Do not deflect. She stood, winced slightly, but remained regal. The medical gown hung off one shoulder, revealing the edge of bruising against blue skin. You saved my life when your orders were to end it. Why? His throat tightened. Up close, without the smoke and chaos, she was breathtaking. Not human beautiful. Something else entirely. Your own people tried to kill you, he said. That seemed wrong. Many things in war are wrong. She took a step closer. That is not an answer. I don't have a better one. Her head tilted, ears angling forward. You are lying. Your heart rate increases, your pupils dilate, you look away. Her hand came up, hovering near his face. You are doing all three. He caught her wrist. The contact sent heat up his arm. What do you want me to say? The truth. They stood there, her wrist in his hand, close enough that he could smell something like cinnamon and ozone on her skin. Her pulse beat against his fingers, rapid and strong. I looked at you and didn't see an enemy, he said quietly. I saw someone worth saving. Her free hand came up to his face, palm against his cheek, the touch scorched. And now? Now I see someone who claimed me without asking. Would you have said yes? His body was already answering, leaning into her touch, his grip on her wrist gentling, his eyes dropping to her mouth. I don't know, he said. Liar. She smiled, and it transformed her face from regal to radiant. The bond does not form without compatibility, Cole Brennan. Your body knew before your mind did. She swayed slightly. His hands went to her waist, steadying her. Through the thin medical gown, he could feel the warmth of her skin, the lean muscle underneath. You should rest, he said. I should. Her hands settled on his shoulders, but I find myself curious about my mate. We barely know each other. Then we will learn. Her thumbs traced small circles against his collarbone. Starting now, your council has demanded my return. They insist I bring you to be presented to the court. Cole's hands tightened on her waist. When? 6 hours. A diplomatic vessel is already en route. Her eyes searched his. You do not have to come. I can refuse. I'll get my gear. Something fierce flashed in her eyes. She stepped closer, close enough that he could feel the heat radiating from her body. You would do this? Face my court? I carried you 27 miles. Seems like I should see it through. Her laugh was low and rich. You really are insane. Probably. Her hand slid from his shoulder to his neck, fingers threading into his hair. The touch sent electricity down his spine. When we arrive, there will be a ceremony, the presentation of mates. It is intimate. They will expect evidence of the bond, physical evidence. Heat crawled up his neck. How intimate? Very, her thumb brushed his jaw, touching, proximity. You should be prepared. I'll manage. Her eyes locked on his, golden and burning. Will you? Before he could answer, the door slid open. Dr. Chen stood there, apologetic. The vessel has arrived early. They're requesting immediate departure. Ashara's hand dropped from his neck. Then we go now. 4 hours into the flight, Cole stood at the viewport watching Earth shrink behind them. The vessel was elegant, all smooth curves and bioorganic lines that pulsed with soft light. Ashara appeared beside him, now dressed in formal attire that complemented her skin, deep blue fabric embroidered with silver. Her ears were adorned with thin bands, her hair swept back. She caught him staring. Something wrong? No, just adjusting. To what? You. Her hand found his, fingers lacing through. The gesture felt inevitable. You will need to adjust quickly. My court is dangerous, Cole. The traditionalists wanted me dead. When they discover I survived and that I have bonded with a human, they'll try again. Yes, she turned to face him. Are you afraid? Terrified, he squeezed her hand. But I'm here anyway. Something bright flashed in her eyes. She stepped closer, her free hand coming up to his chest. Why? Because when I look at you, something in my chest says mine. Her breath caught, her hand pressed flat against his heartbeat. Cole. The ship lurched violently, alarms screamed. Ashara's grip tightened on his hand as the floor tilted. A voice crackled over the comm. My queen, we are under attack! Ashara moved to a wall panel, her fingers flying over controls. A display materialized. 3 ships moving in attack formation. Vorakis, she hissed. He knows I live. Another impact. The lights flickered. Cole's training kicked in. How well armed is this ship? Point defense only. He studied the attack pattern. They're trying to disable, not destroy. They want you alive. To execute me publicly, her hands clenched, as example. Through the viewport, energy fire streaked past close enough to light up space. He grabbed her hand. Escape pod, now! Cole, I cannot abandon. You're the target. We get you off this ship. They break off pursuit. Her ears flattened, but she didn't argue. They ran through smoke-filled corridors to the pod bay. A smaller female, Ilara, Ashara's advisor, met them there, face streaked with ash. The engines are failing, Ilara gasped. My queen, you must go. Ashara hesitated, then kissed her advisor's forehead. Stay alive, that is an order. The pod was cramped, barely room for 2. Cole strapped them both in. Through the viewport, the diplomatic vessel took another hit, listing badly. Launch, Ashara said, voice breaking. The pod fired. G-forces slammed them back. Cole watched the ship growing smaller, saw the attack ships break off pursuit. They'd wanted her, not her crew. The pod tumbled through space, emergency beacon pulsing. Ashara's hand found his, gripping tight. They will come back, she said quietly. Vorakis will not stop. Cole looked at her, this queen who'd claimed him, who fought for peace, who was hunted by her own people. Then we make sure he fails. Together. She leaned across the narrow space, her forehead touching his. Together. The computer chimed, rescue signal detected, ET 6 hours. 6 hours alone with her in a space barely larger than a closet. It was going to be a long flight. The rescue ship found them 4 hours later. Cole had spent those hours in a pod barely larger than a closet. Ashara pressed against his side, her scent filling every breath, her warmth seeping through his gear. They'd talked. About her childhood in the palace, about his scars from battles he'd rather forget, about the war neither of them wanted. And they'd been silent, which somehow felt more intimate. The rescue vessel was small, built for speed. Ashara's remaining loyalists had scrambled it the moment they'd detected the attack. Ilara met them in the hangar bay, relief naked on her face. Vorakis has declared you dead, Ilara said. He claims the humans destroyed your vessel. The coronation is in 3 days. Ashara's ears flattened. Then we have 3 days to expose his treachery. My queen arriving with a human mate will not help. I will not hide what he is to me. Ashara's hand found Cole's. Ilara's gaze shifted to Cole. Can you fight? When I need to. You will need to. The court will demand trial by combat. The armory gleamed with weapons Cole didn't recognize. Ashara moved through it, selecting armor pieces, testing their weight. She'd changed into fitted pants and a sleeveless top that showed the lean muscle in her arms. She caught him staring and smiled. See something interesting, mate? Just wondering how someone who looks like that fights like you do. She crossed to him, chest armor in her hands. My species prizes strength in our females. We are the warriors. She held up the armor. This should fit. He reached for it, but she moved closer, began fastening it herself. Her fingers worked the clasps, brushing his chest, his shoulders, his sides, each touch deliberate, lingering. Ashara, he said, his voice rough. Yes, she looked up, golden eyes bright. You're doing that on purpose. Doing what? Her hand slid to his waist, adjusting the armor. Ensuring your protection? Driving me crazy. Her laugh was low and warm. The bond works both ways, Cole. Do you think I am unaffected? Her fingers traced the armor's edge. I can smell your reaction, hear your heartbeat. He caught her wrists, held them gently. We should focus on staying alive. We should. But she didn't pull away, and yet all I can think about is how your hands feel on my skin. The air crackled between them. His thumbs stroked her wrists, feeling her pulse race. When this is over, she interrupted, stepping closer, I am going to explore every inch of my mate, learn what makes you gasp. Heat shot through him. You can't say things like that right now. Because we're about to walk into a room full of people who want you dead, and I need to focus. Her smile turned wicked. Then focus on this, survive, and I am yours, completely. She pulled away, selected a curved blade from the wall, spun it experimentally. I have wanted you since you carried me, she said. Every moment since has been restraint. She turned, hunger in her eyes. I am done restraining. Cole crossed to her in 3 strides. His hands framed her face, thumbs tracing her cheekbones. After we survive. After we survive. He kissed her. It wasn't gentle. 5 days of tension broke like a dam. Her mouth opened under his, her weapon clattering to the floor as her hands fisted in his shirt. She tasted like cinnamon and heat, and when she made a small sound in her throat, something primal in his chest roared mine. Her body pressed against his, curves and muscle and warmth. His hands slid to her waist, pulling her closer. Her own hands explored, his shoulders, his back, his hair. When he brushed his fingers against one of her ears experimentally, she gasped into his mouth. Cole, she breathed against his lips. He pulled back enough to see her face, eyes half closed, lips swollen, chest heaving. Beautiful. We should stop, he said, not meaning it. We should. Her hands slid under his shirt, nails scraping lightly, but I do not want to. The door hissed open. They sprang apart. Alara stood there, expression carefully neutral. My queen, we are approaching the homeworld. Ashara's composure returned like a mask. Of course, we will be there shortly. Alara's gaze flicked between them, amusement crossing her face before she bowed and left. Cole ran a hand through his hair, breathing hard. Ashara bent to retrieve her weapon, hands trembling slightly. That was, he started. A preview, she finished, meeting his eyes with promises that made heat pool in his stomach. The rest comes after. The homeworld appeared like a jewel, blues and greens and swirling clouds. Cities sprawled across continents, glittering with technology. Ashara stood beside him, now fully armored. The battle gear transformed her into something even more formidable, a queen and a warrior, inseparable. It is beautiful, she said quietly, and full of those who would see me dead. His hand found hers. Then we make sure they don't succeed. The ship landed at a private platform. 3 figures in formal robes waited. The lead one, male, older, scarred, bowed shallowly. Lady Ashara, we are pleased to see the reports of your death were exaggerated. Lord Kavrin, I am certain my survival disappoints certain members of the council. Kavrin's eyes slid to Cole, distaste flickering across his features. Your maid, I presume? Cole Brennan. A human. Kavrin made it sound like an insult. The council will be most interested. He saved my life when your precious council tried to end it, Ashara said sharply. Choose your next words carefully, Kavrin. The threat hung in the air. Kavrin bowed again. The council awaits your presentation. They followed him through corridors of polished stone and living metal. Cole catalogued exits, threats, potential weapons. Ashara leaned close. The presentation will be public. They will test you, your strength, your worth. Do not show weakness. Kind of tests. Physical combat, most likely. And, she hesitated, they will expect us to demonstrate the bond, publicly. How publicly? Her ears flicked back. Very. They arrived at massive doors. Kavrin turned. Beyond these doors is the grand hall. The entire court is assembled. Once you enter, there is no leaving until the presentation is complete. His eyes fixed on Cole. Are you prepared, human? Cole looked at Ashara, this queen who had claimed him, who had kissed him like drowning. Ready? The doors opened. The grand hall was vast, filled with hundreds. All eyes turned as they entered. The crowd parted toward a raised platform where 7 figures sat, the council. At the center, wearing robes that mimicked royal dress, sat Vorakis. He was larger than the others, features sharp and cruel. When he saw Ashara, his expression cycled from shock to rage to cold calculation. Lady Ashara, he said, voice carrying, what an unexpected surprise. Ashara's grip on Cole's hand was iron tight. Lord Vorakis, I see you have made yourself comfortable. Merely maintaining order, Vorakis stood, gaze dropping to Cole. And you bring a pet? The hall erupted in murmurs. Ashara's body went rigid. I bring my mate, she said, voice cutting through the noise, chosen by right, sealed by blood and declaration. A human. Vorakis descended from the platform. You would dilute our bloodline with this creature? I would choose strength over politics, Ashara shot back. Vorakis smiled, predatory. Then let us test this strength. I invoke the right of challenge. Your mate against my champion. When your human falls, so does your claim. The crowd roared. Ashara's hand released Cole's, eyes holding his. You do not have to accept. Cole looked at Vorakis, at the trap closing around them, then back at Ashara, at the faith in her eyes, the fear she was hiding. Vorakis' smile widened. Excellent, the challenge begins now. A section of floor irised open. From below rose a figure that made Cole's blood run cold, easily 8 feet tall, covered in armor-like plates, 4 arms ending in claws. Ashara's hand grabbed his arm. Cole, that is a rendered, a war beast. You cannot... I know. He turned to her, cupped her face. But I'm doing it anyway. He kissed her hard and fast, then stepped away. The rendered roared, and the crowd roared with it. Cole cracked his neck and smiled. Time to prove he was worthy. The rendered moved first, impossibly fast. 4 arms swept toward Cole in a killing arc. He dove left, rolled, came up as concrete exploded where he'd been standing. No weapons. The creature outweighed him 4-1. Fighting it straight would be suicide. The rendered charged. Cole waited, then dropped and slid between its legs. He grabbed an ankle joint and yanked. The creature stumbled, bellowed, spun. Ashara's voice cut through the roar. The joints! Target the joints! The rendered's upper arm swept down. Cole sidestepped, grabbed the limb, threw his weight against the elbow. Something popped. The creature shrieked. 1 down. Let us make this more interesting, Vorakis called. He gestured. The rendered's eyes went from yellow to red. Its movements became faster, erratic, pure killing machine. It came at Cole in a frenzy. He dodged, blocked with debris, but the 3rd strike caught his ribs. Pain exploded as he flew backward, hit a pillar. Blood filled his mouth. The rendered advanced. Cole forced himself upright. Through the pain, he saw Ashara at the barrier, face pale. Their eyes met. Not like this. The rendered lunged. Cole grabbed jagged metal and threw himself forward, drove the spike up under its chin. Black blood sprayed. He slammed debris into its knee joint. The leg buckled. Then Ashara sang a single note that made the air vibrate. The rendered froze, eyes flickering. She is disrupting its implants, Ilara shouted. Cole used its confusion to flip it. 800 pounds hit the ground. He drove his weapon to its throat. The red faded, it went still. Silence, then respect rippled through the crowd. Cole stood, limped away, his vision swam 3 steps before his legs gave out. Ashara caught him. You fool, you beautiful, insane fool. Did I win? You won everything. Vorakis' voice cut through. Combat prowess does not make a worthy mate. Perhaps we should test the bond itself. Ashara's ears flattened. The bond is sealed. Then you will not object to the ceremony of claiming. Let your people witness the truth. It was a trap, but refusing would be worse. We accept, Cole said. They gave Cole 10 minutes, ribs wrapped, shoulder sealed, stimulants injected. The ceremony requires resonance, Ashara said quietly. Our bodies must prove synchronization. It is intimate. They will watch. He turned to her, hands at her waist. Then we give them nothing to judge. You make it sound simple. I want you, you want me. The bond is real. Everything else is performance. She smiled. You have more faith than sense. But I'm still here. The ceremonial chamber was circular, council seated around the perimeter. In the center, a raised platform. The ceremony reveals truth through biology, Vorakis said. Begin. They faced each other, her hands on his chest, his at her waist. Breathe with me, she whispered. He matched his breathing to hers. Their heartbeats began to align. Touch, skin to skin, Vorakis commanded. Ashara's hands slid under his shirt, palms against his chest. Heat bloomed. Cole's hands moved to her back, fingers tracing her spine. Her skin was furnace hot. Closer. They stepped together. Ashara's head tilted back, golden eyes holding his. Her heart thundered against his chest. Show us the bond. Cole's hand slid into her hair. Just us, forget them. He kissed her. The room disappeared. Her mouth opened under his, hands fisting in his shirt, body arching. The kiss was fire and hunger. His hand gripped her hip, pulling her closer. Her nails raked down his back. He broke the kiss, trailed his lips along her jaw, down her neck. Her fingers threaded through his hair, and when his teeth grazed where her neck met her shoulder, her legs nearly gave out. He caught her, hands roaming. She mapped his body through touch. When her hands slid beneath his shirt, nails scraping his abs, his control nearly shattered. Ashara, he breathed. I know, I feel it too. A sound like chimes filled the air, resonance, pheromones mixing, heartbeats aligned. Proof. Enough, Vorakis said, voice tight. The bond is proven, another council member said. Voraki's expression was murderous. Questions remain about Lady Ashara's legitimacy. About whether I ordered my own assassination? Ashara turned to face him. You orchestrated the orbital strike, Vorakis. You wanted me dead. Lies. Truth. Ilara stepped forward with a data device. I have the communication logs. The strike authorization came from your codes. Vorakis' face contorted. Fabrication! I am Ashara, rightful queen, and I charge you with treason. Vorakis' hand went to his weapon. Cole moved. His fist connected with Vorakis' jaw, sending him sprawling. That's my mate, you're insulting. The hall erupted. Ashara pulled Cole to her side, smiling. The eldest council member stood. Lord Vorakis, you will submit to tribunal. Guards dragged Vorakis away. The hall emptied. You punched a high counselor, Ilara said. He had it coming. Ashara laughed, turning to Cole. You fought a war beast, survived the ceremony, started a political incident. Just trying to impress my mate. You succeeded. She kissed him. Come, we have earned privacy. She led him to her chambers. As the door sealed, tension drained from her shoulders. Cole crossed to her, hands at her waist. So now what? Now I have my mate all to myself. She kissed him, and nothing held them back. Just want and need and the bond. His hands roamed, learning what made her gasp. Her fingers traced muscle and scar. When her mouth found his neck, his control frayed. Bed. They fell together. Cole braced himself above her, hair spread across pillows, eyes molten gold. You are beautiful. You are mine. The night blurred into heat and skin and whispered words, learning each other, claiming and being claimed. When dawn came, Cole woke with Ashara curled against his chest, her hand over his heart. Safe together home, dawn painted Ashara's chambers in violet and gold. Cole woke to find her watching him, fingers tracing patterns across his chest. You are awake, she said. Hard to sleep when someone's staring. I am memorizing in case this is a dream. He caught her hand, brought it to his lips. Not a dream. No, she smiled, but something shadowed her eyes. The tribunal convenes in 2 hours. Vorakis will claim I fabricated everything. Cole pulled her close, then we prove him wrong, together. The tribunal chamber was carved from black stone. The council sat in a semicircle, expressions hostile or neutral. Vorakis stood in the center, jaw still bruised, eyes burning with hatred. Ashara entered with Cole, both in formal armor. Lady Serath raised her hand. We convene to address treason against Lord Vorakis. Present your evidence. Ilara activated holographic displays, communication logs, authorization codes, tactical data. The orbital strike was authorized from Lord Vorakis's personal codes, Ilara said. 6 minutes before impact. Furthermore, financial records show payments to the captains who attacked our diplomatic vessel. Lies, Vorakis said calmly, fabricated by someone desperate to delegitimize my claim. Your claim? Ashara's voice cut like a blade. You have no claim. I am the rightful queen. Are you? Vorakis turned to the council. She returns claimed by a human, spouting accusations. How do we know she is not compromised? This human has twisted her mind, made her Earth's puppet. The ceremony confirmed the bond, Lady Sereth began. The ceremony confirmed biology, not loyalty. His eyes locked on Ashara. You chose a human over your species. You advocate peace when we should conquer. You are weak, Ashara, unfit to rule. Cole's fist connected with Vorakis's face. The counselor went down, blood spraying. Ashara grabbed Cole's arm, steadying him. Vorakis pushed himself up, wiping blood. You see, she cannot even control her pet. I do not need to control him, Ashara said coldly. He acts with honor, something you know nothing about. Lady Serath stood. Lord Vorakis, do you deny authorizing the strike? I deny nothing, Vorakis straightened. I authorized it because Ashara was negotiating surrender. I acted to preserve our empire. The chamber erupted, council members shouting, galleries roaring. You admit to treason? Lady Serath demanded. I admit to saving our species from a weak queen who chose a human as mate. Who would end the war that made us powerful? I ask you, who is the real traitor? The crowd's roar intensified, split between support and condemnation. Cole leaned close to Ashara. We're losing them. I know, her jaw was tight. They fear change. Then give them something to believe in. She stepped forward, her voice cutting through chaos with pure authority. You want to know who I am? I am the queen who survived my council's treachery. I am the warrior who returned to face her accusers. I am the leader who chose strength and honor. And yes, I chose a human. She turned to Cole, held out her hand. Not because I am weak, because he proved himself worthy. Cole took her hand. Cole Brennan carried me 27 miles when he could have killed me. He fought a war beast and won. He passed the ceremony of claiming. He has bled for me, fought beside me. Her voice dropped but lost none of its power. If that is weakness, then I embrace it. If choosing peace makes me unfit, then challenge me for the throne. She drew her blade, held it high. I invoke the right of single combat. Any who question my fitness may face me now. Silence. Then Vorakis laughed. You challenge the council to combat? I challenge anyone who believes they are stronger. Ashara's eyes swept the room. You claim I am weak, Vorakis. Prove it. Face me yourself. Vorakis's smile faded. I am not a warrior. You are a coward, Ashara's words echoed. You orchestrate assassinations from shadows but lack courage to face me openly. Face me, or confess your treason. Vorakis's expression twisted. He drew his blade. When I kill you, your human can watch his mate die. When I defeat you, your conspiracy dies with you. The council cleared the center. Ashara handed Cole her formal armor, stood in her combat suit. Vorakis circled, blade ready. Any last words, false queen? Yes, Ashara's stance shifted, predatory. You should have made sure I was dead. Vorakis attacked. He was larger, stronger, brutal, but Ashara was faster. She dodged, then her blade flashed and drew blood across his ribs. He roared, pressed the attack. Metal rang against metal. Vorakis fought with power, trying to overwhelm. Ashara fought with precision, finding gaps. Her blade scored his shoulder, his caught her thigh. They broke apart, circling, both breathing hard. You cannot win, Vorakis growled. Strength is not enough. Ashara struck, drove him back. You need skill, vision, honor. Their blades locked. Vorakis threw his weight forward. Ashara twisted, used his momentum, sent him stumbling. Her blade found his side, drove deep. Vorakis gasped, went to one knee, blood spread across his robes. Ashara's blade came to his throat. Yield. Never. Kill me and my supporters will claim martyrdom. Then I will not kill you. You will face judgment for treason. You will be stripped of everything. And you will live knowing a weak queen defeated you. She stepped back, guards moved forward. Lady Serath stood. The challenge is decided. Lord Vorakis is guilty of treason. The sentence is exile. Vorakis laughed bitterly as guards dragged him away. The war continues. Humanity will never accept peace. Then I will make them, Ashara said. This war ends, now. 3 days later, Cole stood in a communications room. Ashara was beside him, hand finding his beneath the table. Ambassador Chen, Ashara said, I am reaching out to discuss terms of peace. The ambassador studied them. Your Majesty, trust has been difficult to establish. I understand, which is why I propose cultural exchange. Officers from both militaries embedded together, scientists collaborating, diplomats working as partners. She paused. My mate has shown me our species can coexist. I would prove it to both our peoples. Ambassador Chen's expression softened. Sergeant Brennan's actions created opportunities. We accept your proposal, Your Majesty. Let us begin building something better than war. The transmission ended. Ashara sagged, tension draining. It is done, she said quietly. The war is over. Cole pulled her close. You did it. We did it. She looked up. You carried me 27 miles and changed everything. Just doing my job. Your job was to kill me. I'm really bad at following orders. She laughed, pure and joyful. Thank the stars for that. He kissed her, soft and deep. When they broke apart, her eyes were bright. What happens now, he asked. Now we build peace. We unite our peoples. We figure out how a human and a queen make a life together. Sounds complicated. It will be. Her hand cupped his face. But I carried you in my heart for 27 miles before we even touched. I think we can handle complicated. 27 miles. From the moment you chose to save me instead of kill me, you were mine. I just had to wait for you to realize it. He pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. Outside, her homeworld glittered under twin suns. Ships moved between stars, human and alien beginning to fly together. I love you, he said. I know. She pulled back to see his face. I felt it the moment you picked me up. I heard it in every step. I saw it when you fought for me. Her fingers traced his jaw. And I love you, Cole Brennan. My mate, my partner, my choice. Yours, he agreed. As their lips met, the future spread before them, uncertain, challenging, but theirs to build together. One step at a time, just like those first 27 miles.